So, good morning, good afternoon. I'm here with our golf pro and our superintendent, and what we wanted to do is make sure everybody's aware of the situation of the course, the situation it is to play, what tournaments are going to be like, just so there are no surprises when anybody comes back to the mountain. And generally this is a really good story. So what I think we'll do, guys, is probably the best thing to do is just start off and go 1 through 18, and let's see where we are. And I think we've got some pictures that we'll be showing as we go along through this. So without further ado, Scott, let's start off. So what does number 1 look like?
Number 1 honestly looks really, really good right now. The only problem is our big slide that we had off the right-hand side of the green. Currently working on that. We got the information back from the engineer yesterday. They're starting today. They've completed the first tier, and the second tier is going to be stepped down, and we're hoping the next 3 to 4 weeks that number 1 will be finished.
Perfect.
With good weather. Everything depends on the weather.
Touch wood. So, Chris, it looks like that's playable. I mean, if you stand on number 1 tee, it doesn't look like there's...
It does look
anything,
like it's
right?
playable, but yeah, we're going to let the guys work
Yeah.
through the slide. They're going to be off, as Scott said. Today they started. We want no one to get hurt, obviously, so we're just going to keep that closed till, hopefully to be determined, but I would say middle of May would be my guess that they get it back in working order, but it's more about safety. They have a lot of equipment going back and forth, and obviously we want no one to be hurt.
All right. Cool. So that was 1. 2. I wandered out there the other day, Scott, and 2, I can see through the end of 2.
2 looks really good, and that's one of the few positives we had from Helene is the trees that came down behind 2 are now giving us more sunlight and are really going to help that green. But one of the things you'll notice on number 2 is the outskirts of the hole, the wood line is not going to look very good for a while because 1, it's not our property, so we're waiting on someone else to remove all the trees. And 2, there are just so many down just laying right there on the edge, but we've cut everything back to where it's out of the way, it's playable, it looks good other than looking up into the woods.
Cool.
We're hoping once we get a little growth going that some of the bushes and things in there will grow up and block some of it some. But yeah, it looks pretty good and the green looks really good. So.
It's kind of like 2 going down through 5, that whole area.
It got destroyed. It
Looks
took
like
us
got hit.
3 weeks, I think, to get from 2 green to 5 tees cutting trees.
And I noticed Chris and his guys are out there as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of help from a lot of
Cut
people.
anything off.
Yeah. If it's half down, cut it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so 2 sounds good. 3 and 4, the up and the back. I saw a slide there, and also there's some fixes up on the left side of the fairway. They've done a lot of work for POA as well. So.
Yeah, we had the big slide going from the bank below 3 green down to 4 tees, and then actually going into 4 pond. Those have been repaired, fixed, seeded back. 3 and 4 are in really good shape, and we expect them to be ready to go when we're ready to open. So.
Yeah, I expect 4 we'll be able to find a lot more balls if you hook.
Oh
it
yeah,
into
yes.
the
A lot of trees down, yes, a lot more playability
Yeah.
for our hookers in the crowd.
All right, so we go around and we're up at 5. Again, we've got the same trees down that we're on 2, but the green looks fabulous.
Yeah, the green's good, tees are good. We got really, really lucky there. We had so many trees down, but very few of them landed on the tees. We actually had one that fell, and it landed right in between our new sandbox. So the sandbox never got touched. It had a tree on either side of it, but it never got touched. So yeah, 5's good. The fence was damaged by a tree, but we've repaired that. And it's ready to go. So yeah, 5's pretty good.
Cool. All right, around the end of the runway into number 6.
Speaking of going around the end of the runway, you'll notice if you get past the bathroom, there's a small slide going off into the woods there. That's going to be addressed later once we finish number 1. But yeah, if you notice that, it is on the list and it will be fixed.
But not a danger.
No.
Cool. So we're at 6. The hole looks good.
It does.
Other than there's a little bit of a slide up the runway.
Just a little.
So where are we with that?
We're waiting. The runway's actually being handled by the POA because FAA rules and all that. They have to take care of that one. we're waiting on them to start, and I know once they start, 4 to 6 weeks for them to complete it, but they've had so many slides they've had to deal with, and
Yeah.
kind of had to push this one back a little bit farther, but they're hoping to get started here in the next few days.
Okay. So Chris, what's the plan then on number 6?
6 right now, yeah, we'll keep closed until they begin works, to let them work again, safety reasons. And we'll actually do I think we want to talk about it in a new routing option for you guys to continue to play once we open May 1st.
Right.
But we'll wait on POA and
Okay.
let those guys finish that slide. It's a pretty big slide.
Yep. Okay. So 7.
7's good. We had a lot of trees down in the fairway on 7 over along the bunker on the left-hand side. Those have all been cut, cleaned up.
That's a good thing.
Had to remove some really large stumps out of there. It's been sodded, repaired back. We did a lot of repair work in the fairway from where the trees fell, but yeah, 7's in good shape now too. We have to add one more drain, but that's a project we've been wanting to do for a couple years, but we'll try and do that probably on a Monday when we're closed half a day or something.
Were there any trees down? I can't remember. Were there any trees down between 6 and 7 down that middle of the fairway?
We had one that broke that we had to cut down. That was
Right.
kind of in between 6 and 7, but other than that, we,
All right. So 7 looks good.
yeah.
8.
8's good as well.
Good.
Had a lot of trees on it. We had to take a lot of trees down there, or not down, up. They were already down. We have a couple small slides going down into the creek, and they're on the same list as the end of the runway. They'll be fixed on a Monday afternoon or Monday morning. So yeah, 8's in pretty good shape. We've got a couple drains, and that's one of the things people will notice. All that rain, I mean, we had over 30 inches of rain. It all went into these small 4 or 6 inch, some of them 8-inch drains that we have. And they're just not designed to take that much water, so they collapsed around the sides. And we're gonna have to build those back up, but nothing that's gonna affect anybody. We'll mark those off so people don't try to drive through them, things like that.
Did the view open up any going down on the right side?
A little bit, but not a lot. Most of the trees that fell, they fell towards the golf hole, but it wasn't any of the big
on the
ones back
side.
in there. It opened it up a little, but not a whole lot.
Cool. So then we come around 8 up to 9. Looks
Yeah.
good.
9 is in good shape.
Yeah, 9, we didn't really have any major issues on. We had a couple trees down. Those have all been removed. You'll notice there's still some stumps out there. We push those back. Normally when we cut a tree, we ground the stump immediately. But there's so many of them out there that we did the ones we could, but we've pushed that back till probably the winter, and we're gonna rent a much larger stump grinder than the one we have so we can get those knocked out. But number 9, you'll see a few stumps there, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Good. And Chris, one of the trees that Scott's talking about is the one that the ladies have been complaining about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going, yeah.
They can see the green.
They can see the green. The
Okay.
big hitters can go for it, yeah. That was a good one.
All right, so we finished the front 9, 1 and 6, the only issues. Everything else looks
Looks
good.
great.
And the routing you're talking about, let me just make sure I got it right. We'll
Yes.
do 2 through 5.
2 through 5, come
We'll
around.
loop around, and then we'll do 8, 9, and 7. So and we'll lose 1 and 6 just temporarily.
Just temporarily, yep.
And
Then you'll drive
until-
back on number 6.
And then
Yes.
we'll drive back up. Perfect, got it. And I guess we'll have some instructions out there.
Yes,
so we don't get
absolutely.
lost.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. All right, so we loop around and now we're on the back 9. So 10. Did 10 survive?
10 survived. That was one of the holes that I was most worried about, but other than a slide at the ladies' tee, 10 held up really well. It's ready to go. We've had to do some sod work, of course, and we had to fix the slide there at the ladies' tee. That's been taken care of. Had some issues with the fence, but that's been fixed. But yeah, 10's
10's
good.
a
Good.
miracle.
We got a couple
10 is.
trees down on the left-hand side. We got those all cleaned up, so 10's
10's okay.
10's okay.
11.
11 has been a disaster. We have spent more time on number 11 since September than we have in the 15 years that I've been here. But 11, we know we had the big slide that came off the road, and it took every tee box on 11, at least took some damage. Slide's been fixed. The hillside's been seeded with wildflower seeds. So we're hoping now above the blue tee will be a field of wildflowers. The blue tee has been resodded, put a nice new mulch bed around the back of it. It looks really good. The cart path, we still got to do some work on the cart path. We're going to have to pressure wash it, clean it off, just because all the mud that sat on it for so long. The fence was damaged, and instead of repairing the fence, we had massive, and I mean massive boulders that came down, and we just positioned those along the edge of the path to serve as a fence now going down through there.
Cool.
That's been taken care of. All the tees have either been seeded or sodded or sprigged. They're all coming back, looking really good. Fairway's good. We had a few spots we had to patch. The green, that green is probably the one that took the most damage from the drought that we had after the hurricane. And I know we'll talk about that later. But yeah, 11 should be playable. We're still doing some work on a drainage culvert that collapsed, and that runs from the upper fairway on 11 all the way down to the pond. And that culvert was an old galvanized culvert that had rusted, and all the water from the hurricane just washed all the dirt out around it. We went out to try and mow 11 fairway for the first time, and it collapsed underneath the mowers. So that was 350, maybe 400 feet of pipe that we had to replace. We had to dig one section, but 220 feet of it we were actually able to sleeve through the old pipe, which saved us from having to dig up the entire fairway. So that was a big deal, but we're working on that, getting it patched back up now.
And Chris, you're changing it so that the bunker down on the green on the left as
Yes.
you approach, that's
It's
now going to be a
grass bunker,
grass
you can call
bunker?
it. Scott and his staff are fixing that. So it got damaged, and instead of repairing it with the billy bunker and all that, that we're just gonna make it just a grass bunker that's playable.
Little Scottish style.
Yeah, exactly, little Scottish link style. But yeah, we felt it was important to remove that. It's one of the hardest shots up here. It saves labor, time, playability of the golf course, kind of like what we did on number 7, taking that big bunker out behind the green.
Right.
Just made all the sense in the world, saved a lot of money, and I think it'll look better and play better for sure.
And that is a work in progress,
Yes.
because getting dirt hauled into it along with everything else. Anytime we have a project where we have to remove dirt from one area,
going
we're
in.
taking it down to 11, put it in the bunker, and once we get enough, we'll start smoothing it out. And depending on what time of year it is, we'll either seed it or sod it.
All right, got it. So it's the Mountain Air version of Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Got it. Just to sum up for anybody that's still listening to us, on 11, we remember that it's always been wet down there by the cart path. And the problem is there's a bunch of streams and water that just flow down there naturally. The pipe that Scott's talking about is like this big.
Yeah, it's a close to 30-inch culvert.
Yeah, and it just has rusted away, and now Helene throws whatever she's throwing down the pipe. It just shattered it. So it's good that it actually happened now rather
Yes,
than later,
in the
so it's all
absolutely.
fixed. So the plan on 11 is, come the season, we should be good on 11 now, just
Yep.
finishing up.
I mean, you're going to see scars and healing that has to take place, but it will be playable, and for the most part, it'll look pretty good.
Cool. And hopefully dry so that we'll just
Yeah,
be
exactly.
past all that.
Yeah, it will be. It will help with the wetness
Right.
issues for sure.
Well, we spent a lot of time on number 11 there. Let's move on to,
Yeah.
let's move on to 12.
12's good. Had very little damage on 12. It was also damaged by the drought, so you'll see some scarring on that green where it's trying to recover and heal back. But 12's good shape.
13?
13 same. Had some damage from the drought that followed the hurricane. Had some trees down. You'll see some damage there below the ladies' tee where we had a huge tree that fell across the path. But other than that, 13's in pretty good shape as well.
And did we lose the trees down by
Behind-
the bunker, behind
Yeah,
the bunker?
there's only
so
one
there's
tree
only
of the
one
3.
left.
Of the 3, so
It still looks good.
it still looks great. That one tree frames it perfectly, and if you hit it down in that little gully now, you actually can play it from there.
And we may look in the future of doing something different down in there, adding something to that bed. Or,
Right, right.
As long as it's not a pond or anything.
no.
A water feature.
I don't want any more pond.
Okay. Now we're up to the par 3, downhill par 3, number 14.
14 had some damage around the ladies' tee. We had to do a lot of sod work there. But other than that ladies' tee, the rest of the hole's pretty good shape.
All right, cool. And 15, you just did the tee box for green last year, and is that all okay?
Yep, it's good. That tee box is still good. The only tee box, any problems on 15 is the pro tee, the black tee. We had to take sod off of that tee to patch some areas.
Okay.
So we'll be sodding that back at some point in the future, but all the rest of the tees are in good shape.
That doesn't get much play.
It doesn't.
No,
Really?
no.
Okay. Okay, so we've come up 15 and we're making the loop around. How's the bathroom there, by the way?
It's good. There were, man, I'm trying to remember. It was over 20 trees that were down just in that area, and most of them were laying on the roof of the bathroom. But they were all cut up, cleaned up. We've had the roof redone. We have to do some painting still once it stops raining and being cold all the time. But once they get the painting done, the bathroom will be fine, which it's usable and good to go now. We just need to paint it, make it look better.
Alrighty, so up the hill to 16 and on the homeward stretch. 16 looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Darn good.
16's in good shape. Had some tree damage there, but nothing major. 16's,
Yeah, still
Ready
got
to
that
go.
awful rough on the left side.
yeah, still there.
Still there.
Darn. 17. I saw that there was a little slide early on, but that looks to be fixed now.
Yep,
so-
slide going into the pond on 17, that's been fixed. We had a whole lot of damage on the right-hand side of 17. We had a limb that was probably 8-10 inches in diameter that stabbed through the bunker and went through the concrete bunker liner and was about 4 feet deep. We had to dig it out and patch the bunker liner back. Just a lot of trees, big, massive trees that were down. And you'll see a lot of the evidence on the right-hand side of 17 in the woods. There's very little trees.
Well, I look across there from my condo and it's like green is great, and then hey, there's a house.
It's mind-boggling how many
there's-
trees.
Yeah, you will see on 17 to the right. You will see a
Unbelievable.
lot of trees down. It's lucky there weren't buildings in there because they would have been demolished.
We seeded a lot of wildflower seeds on the right-hand side of 17. We're hoping to get some wildflowers growing up in there. But yeah, I think it's going to look really good once everything comes up that we've put out.
Yes.
Yeah, and the wildflowers did well for us
Yeah.
last year as well. Okay, final home hole, number 18. There's a lot of trees. I seem to remember.
Yeah, we had 16 trees just on 18 green. That's not counting the ones that went down the fairway. There was a whole lot of tree work that had to be done, but all the trees are up now. We do have one spot on the cart path where a big tree fell and busted up the cart path. We're gonna have to get that cut and patched at some point, but right now we've got it marked and you can drive around it if you need to. But the green, we did 450 plugs off of the collar onto the green to fix all the damage from the trees. And then we did 1,000 square feet of bent grass sod around the green to fix all the tree damage around the green. So, but the green's healing up nicely.
Looks fabulous.
For the first little bit, most of the pin locations on 18 will probably be in the middle of the green because all the damage was on the front and the back. So we'll try and keep traffic off of those as much as possible. But yeah, 18's come a long way. We got the bunkers fixed like 2 or 3 times because they kept getting washed out every time it would rain after the hurricane. Just running off the road above 18 down into the bunker. So we've got those fixed and everything looks pretty good.
Yeah, for those still with us, somewhere up here is a picture of the holes in number 18 green. It was amazing, the damage that was done.
Yeah.
You couldn't put the pin anywhere because it was the front, the middle, the back.
It was crazy.
That's
It's
a
a
good
lot of
job.
trees.
All right, so there's our tour of the course. So come opening day, Chris, let's, May 1st, when we officially open, what is our routing going to be? Just
So we'll
remind
start on 2,
Okay.
and we'll go 2 through 5. Come around the runway, we will play 8, then go to 9, and then 7, and then you'll exit back the cart path on 6 to go to 10, and then obviously 10 through 18.
Back nine's open.
We'll have it ready to go. Scott and his staff have done a phenomenal job. Unbelievable.
So we lose temporarily 1 and 6.
1 and 6
until
temporarily,
we're done.
yes.
1 probably comes back quicker than 6.
Yes.
We assume so.
Yes.
Yeah, but I guess mid-May we would hope that pretty much everything is back to normal.
That's the hope.
Absolutely.
Posting scores when the season starts with those 2 holes, how do we handle that? Chris?
We'll go back, and I did call the USGA, so you'll play your 16 holes, and then on 1 and 6, it'll just be par plus handicap, which was the old way. So if you got a shot on 1, you just put a 5 down, and we'll do that full stroke until we open up.
So we can post.
Yes,
from-
we can post
from-
18 holes, absolutely. And they did give us permission in the disaster, all the golf courses up here to post that way, which was awesome.
Cool. All right. So we talked a lot about Helene and the recovery that we had to do from Helene, but you know, you guys were up here during the winter. It wasn't just Helene in October, September, October. It was a drought, and then no electricity for the sprinkler systems.
Yeah, it was
We
a
had
mess.
snow on the ground for goodness knows how long.
A long
So,
time.
what impact? How did you get over that?
Well, the first big impact is, you know, we got all the rain from the hurricane, and then we went for 6 weeks after that without a drop. We had no rain, and it was hot and windy, and it was just miserable weather to try and keep grass alive, and no electricity to run the irrigation, and to find generators big enough to power the irrigation. It took us 5 weeks to get those up here. So we went for 5 weeks with no water at all on the golf course. We were out there with every sprayer, everything we could find with water in it, just trying to keep things alive. And that's why we did the seeding project and the needle tining right after the hurricane to get some seed down once we got water back. But yeah, the drought was it probably did just as much damage to the turf as the hurricane did.
Yeah, it did.
Grass can't live without water. And I mean, we went for
It was
5
bad.
weeks without any. And
I thought Scott did a great job because I personally, when me and him would talk, didn't think 11 and 12 were going to live. When I looked at the greens, it's like, you know, we're probably off the side, you know, and we were going back and forth, but what he did to keep them alive with no water and rain was, you know, miraculous because I thought they were dead.
Yeah,
Come November, they were brown. They were bad.
my guys did an incredible job. And you'll see in some of the pictures that we're going to post,
Mind-boggling.
specifically of number 11 green, it was damaged probably the worst. But my guys did an incredible job. Brandon and Kyle and Noah
Watering.
out there with sprayers with hoses attached to them, just trying to water. I mean, Kyle would spend pretty much 8 hours a day, and that's all he would do is just water greens.
No electricity.
No electricity. We
And
did
no
what we
water.
could.
You know, had to get it. Well, like you could go get water anywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Well, those who
Awesome.
were up here, you know what it was like, right, for that extended period of time. All right. I think we're good to go. Tournaments are all set.
Tournaments are
Not
set.
going to be impacted.
no sir. Ready to go.
Ladies day, ladies boot camp.
Boot camp.
All
Ready.
good?
Yep. We're ready. We've got our teachers coming in and we're ready. I'm ready to do golf.
All right.
It's been a long
Cool.
time.
Yeah.
By the way, how's the learning center? Are we good?
Oh yeah.
It's doing good. We've got everything paved and patched up and ready to go down the short game area. We had to, when you come through the emergency exit there, that's the only way we could get a paver up here to pave the cart path to the short game area. So to get a truck through that gate, we had to take an excavator and dig out part of the bank down below the green so the truck could swing that turn. So that's still there. We've got to put the dirt back in there and try and patch that up. The slides have been fixed. But the one big slide that came from the property above the learning center that we don't own,
Yep.
there's a huge rock there. You can't put dirt back on a rock. It's just going to wash back off. So until we get some grass established up there, it's going to continue to weep down and let some dirt down. We have seeded that fairway 3 times because the deer keep eating all the seed out of the fairway, and every time it rains, it washes it out. So we've seeded it, strawed it. We hydro seeded it first and it didn't take. So now we've got seed and straw on it, hoping that it takes. But it's finally started to germinate a little bit. But it'll be usable, just will not look as good as we
Right, yeah.
are used to it looking
Our plan
for a
is still
while.
May 1st there too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as
May
long as
1st.
everything goes, yeah.
All right. So we're hoping you all come back
Yes.
May
Ready to golf.
1st. We'll be ready to rock
Yeah.
and roll.
I'm
So,
ready.
Scott, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your work.
Thank you.
Yep.
Chris, as always.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All righty.
Thank that guy when
See
you
you
see.
also. If you see Scott and his guys, make sure you thank them.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you
Signing
guys.
off.
See you.
Bye.